A friend of my wife proposed she and I start an affair. I rejected her, and now she's flipping out on us. 2 years ago, my wife's friend, who at the time was a coworker of mine, approached me casually one day and noted that as both of our spouses were leaving town for the week that I should come over tonight. It'll be just the two of us alone. We can open a bottle of wine and just happens. I rejected her, but didn't immediately tell my wife, as a similar thing had happened while scouting a location for a commercial shoot. I wanted to be sure I wasn't putting out any "I would love to cheat on my wife" vibes before I potentially put anyone's friendships at risk. A few months pass and I tell my wife, who just thinks it's odd, but the longer she thinks on it, the madder she gets. The friend has just been playing it off, assuming I said nothing, but my wife has continued being a friend to her. She's promoted her daughter's business, helped this woman's family member through a tough diagnosis. But lately, my wife has decided enough is enough. This week, the friend announced her daughter's wedding and texted my wife to invite us, and my wife sent a thinly worded message saying, essentially, "No, here's what you tried to do. We are going to be discreet and not tell anyone. Please lose our numbers." The woman spent 3 days texting my wife telling her she's crazy. I'm a liar and we're trying to slander her. It's bleeding over into social media accusations against my wife being a bad friend. I'm dealing with a lot of anger. I seldom spoke to this woman before or after the incident, but she's decided because she wanted to duck and I said no, she's going to rattle our cages. People are the worst. Update. And she was cheating when she said it. We got together near the end of her first year of college. She aggressively pursued me. Later, I found out she saw me with incredible potential. She changed my wardrobe, changed my friends. She spent nearly every waking moment at my side, dictating decisions. What the duck did I know? This was my first real girlfriend. No S-time, though. Wait for marriage. You can put it in my ass if you want. At the near 2-year mark, I poke at the idea of slowing this train to a stop. She would quit school, throw away her scholarship, kill herself. Well done. 3-year mark. I haven't been happy in a while. I miss my friends. She goes on a beach trip with some friends. After she tells me she ran into a friend from high school, he hung out with them most of the trip. I'm largely depressed. A few weeks later, my new job is pulling a lot of hours from me. She asks if I'm cheating on her. She even drops into my office unannounced. I'm just there busting my ass. One night she says, "Let's get married." She calls my parents to tell them we're engaged. I'm running out the clock, weeks left before she's out of school. Accuses me of not having time for her. She's not a month out of college when I break up with her. She spends weeks showing up at my place demanding that this is, in fact, over no matter what I say. I close the door on her. She doesn't have a key anymore. I find out that she had been ducking, not just Annalie, the old friend from her trip, since not too long before the trip, since before her proposal, before she accused me of cheating, before she showed up to demand we weren't over. I had to. You were too depressed, is how she excuses it. I was depressed because I didn't know how to break up with someone who threatened to kill themselves if I did. Story 2. Need someone to talk to after finding my wife cheated for several months. Background. I am 26. Wife is 25. Married for almost 3 years. Together for 7. We have had our ups and downs over the years, but it has usually been amazing. She started traveling during COVID as a nurse, and I found out she cheated basically as soon as she arrived in a new city, and she started meeting multiple people. She used a fake name and would never tell anybody anything about the real her. It's tricky because she also is bipolar, and I fully believe she was manic. She got back from traveling and left a suicide note and disappeared. Once found, she said she ducked up so much in the past and that it's easier to just disappear. We made it through that, but then I started digging because I knew she cheated. She was trickle-truthing me for the past month, and I finally got into her phone and saw everything. I know she didn't have feelings for these guys, and she has a lot of trauma in her past. I know this doesn't excuse her actions, but I love her so much, and I know the real her in her right mind would never do anything like this. She has shown great remorse, but still hasn't been able to tell me everything she has done. She just checked herself into an inpatient program to get help. I just don't know what to do. Deep down, I love this woman so much, but I'm not sure I can get over the hurt that she put me through. I just found more today when she is in inpatient care, and I don't know how to get the whole truth out of her. Sorry for rambling, but I'm just so hurt. Story 3. Long-time follower, first-time poster. I'm not even sure where to begin. Honestly, starting 72 hours ago, I started to slowly feel my soul split piece by piece. I, 32, and my wife, 23, have been together nearly 5 years, married not too long after dating, half a year roughly. In April 2018, for the first time since I could remember, I was entirely free from probation as a young teen onto parole in my later years. Well, now that I was finally finished, I was getting ready to leave home state. Nice. Right before I was scheduled to leave, for some odd reason, I decided to message her and let her know and tell her goodbye. Instead, she asked me to stay. So, I did. We met up for the first time, and it was unlike anything I had ever experienced. For the first time and as long as I could remember, I wanted to be a better man. Well, when we met, I was homeless, with a pair of pants and t-shirt, and that was all. But she didn't think less of me. She chose to go homeless with me just to be beside me, and she certainly didn't have to. 6 months later, while we were staying over with my grandmother, I'm not sure if my grandmother saw the way we looked at one another, acted towards one another, but she asked us, "Why don't you guys just get married?" So we did just 2 weeks later. Department of Social Services ended up helping US pay first month's rent on a home we found because quickly we secured jobs. It wasn't a mansion and really was previously a small Jamaican restaurant, but it was ours, and it was home. Well, her father and that side of the family disowned her, basically for marrying me. It didn't matter that she was in love and happy. I was worthless in their eyes. When we posted our marriage photos, her sister had shared it. They weren't friends on Facebook, and basically went on about such a huge mistake, and the next duck-up they'll find out is she's pregnant. But my family took right to her, loved her as if she were their very own blood. Fast forward 7 months, and I'm noticing little things that are different. Cravings, attitude, etc. So I buy a test. Lo and behold, it's positive. Now we had our problems, arguments, etc. But who doesn't? We both walked 2 miles one way to work. Our jobs were across the street from one another. But one thing I never would let her do was walk to work or home alone. She did this to until 2 months pregnant. Enter our baby boy. We decided this current first home was not a proper place for a baby, so the next 4 checks I handed every penny to a new landlord we found so we could be in for the new year. Enter postpartum. Fights are getting bad. I'm staying up all night with the baby, then going to work, dead exhausted. All of a sudden, her sister and others want to be in her life, and the whole time, it was just tough love. They're constantly causing even more tension between us. We separate. I say it with quotes because we lived together. She was talking to one of my first childhood best friends, sending each other nudes. I never did anything. Instead, fought for my marriage and family. We finally decided to work on us, and things were going great. We found another new house in a very small village. 3 bedrooms, 1 1-2 bathroom, 1 1-2 bathroom, 1 1-2 bathroom, for only $50 a month. First year was great. Then her family starts coming around again. Now we have problems. April of this year, she wants to call it quits. 3 days later, after I just nursed her and took care of her for a couple days, she wants to go to a 420 party. Our 2-year-old and I were now bedridden, 101 fevers. She goes and turns out really was off having an affair. 6 out of 7 days going forward, she would come home from work, jump in the shower, and going to see Dad, going to Mom's, whatever excuse. Only I wasn't dumb. It got ugly quick. But I love this woman with everything I have, so I fought for her. For us, we rekindled. Things were going good again. Then, Sunday night, she went to her ex-coworker's house to drink and was staying the night because work in the She even doubled back for another hug and kiss, and all I asked was, "Let me know you made it, please." Never heard from her until 7 a.m. When she got home, she wanted to be finished. Made me lose my job by not coming home with the car 3 nights ago. had no idea where she was. And now I'm writing all this from a bench in the park because I'm too broke now to afford a motel. I'm telling you, I've never been so low nor wanted death so bad. Redditor's reactions. Next story after. Redditor 1. Sorry you're going through this, Op, but it's time to put yourself first. You need to get therapy and divorce her because if not, you might really end up dead. I'm serious. She no longer cares about you, bro. Acknowledge that. Also, I don't mean to sound rude, but your son. Are you sure he's your son? I'd say get a DNA test to be sure, and if it's a match, fight for custody. Anybody who'd leave their sick child to go partying and sleeping with other men isn't fit to be a mother. I'll say it again. Put yourself first. She might cry, beg, etc. Don't give in. Leave for your child's sake. 2 stable homes is always better than 1 broken home. Stay strong, Op. Op answer. I'm 100 positive he's my boy. Her family pushing this scenario, and that scenario slowly changed her. Whereas I used to be in the front burners, slowly I was pushed to the back burners, and they were taking priority. But one thing I do know is he's mine. Redditor 2. This relationship was destined to fail. You married her after months when she was 18. She was barely an adult. People go through so much change in early adulthood, so it's not surprising she's causing so much upheaval in her early 20s. That doesn't mean you deserved any of it, but you need to pick yourself up and rebuild. Get to a place you can provide and be in your son's life again. Quit the codependency on such a young and immature partner. Focus on personal growth and being the father you need to be for your son. Redditor 3. Man, pull yourself together and leave. As far as I understand, you have a family and it will support you. You can't stay in this toxic marriage, but you shouldn't blame her family, no matter how terrible people they are, and in no case should you blame yourself. Your wife is an adult woman who bears full responsibility for her actions. She deliberately rejected you and cheated on you. She chose to solve her problems not with you, but with other men. It's disgusting. I advise you to cut off all contacts with her, except those concerning your son. You can't start any serious conversations about the future without ready-made divorce papers. Cheaters recognize only strength and firmness. Don't build illusions about reconciliation. If she asks for it, begs for it, it's fake. It's a dead end. It's an extension of your torment. She will not change. She will not change. She will only get worse. You're at the bottom right now, so it's going to get easier. Hold on, bro. I'm hugging you. Story 4. I think my girlfriend gave me chlamydia. Just to clarify, I've been dating this girl for 4 months, and I have not cheated on her in any way. She just called me and asked me if I had cheated on her, which I said no. Then she dropped the bomb that she had tested positive for chlamydia. What does this mean? Redditor's reactions. Next story after. Redditor 1. There are 3 possibilities. 1. You gave her chlamydia. If you didn't cheat, that means you got it before you started dating her. 2. Someone else gave her chlamydia. Either she cheated on you or she had it before you started dating her. 3. She doesn't have chlamydia. False positive. Regardless of what happened, you should definitely get tested for chlamydia as soon as you can. Redditor follow-up. This chlamydia can be asymptomatic as well. She could have had it before and just found out. Redditor 2. Did you both get tested for that before having S-time? And have you two been exclusive since then? Redditor follow-up. This is the million-dollar question. I mean, they haven't been together for long. Redditor 3. This is why both parties should get tested before every relationship. Redditor follow-up. That would be great. Luckily, relationships don't happen organically and are carefully scheduled with enough time for all parties to get tested for STDs, get rid of any lingering ex-relationships of few arrangements, and clean their apartment properly, even fishing all the odd socks and tissues and coffee cups out from under the bed. Story 4. My 16-year-old brother has become a hardcore evangelical Orthodox Christian. I can't take his rude behavior and extremely warped views anymore. I, 18 man, grew up in a semi-strict Christian household with many poopy rules. No MREM-rated games. No R-rated movies, etc. My brother grew up with these rules too. He wasn't always the way he is today. He wasn't always the way he is today. He used to be a normal kid that liked normal things. But something changed in him a year ago, and I'm worried he's gonna hurt someone or himself. He became really into Orthodox Christianity for reasons I don't know other than he was always a Christian. He became really involved with super radical beliefs. He believes gay people should be killed because he thinks they are all pedophiles. He says that non-believers should be punished physically. He thinks women should wear only modest clothing and submit to their husbands. He is also against interracial marriage. The one that boils my blood is when he says black people are immoral and deserve AIDS. I don't understand why he is this way. He just changed into this hateful and self-proclaimed righteous person. I don't know if I can continue to be around him because of his ways. I'm scared for the women he might marry. I'm scared of what happens when he's old enough to buy a gun. He truly believes in this radical hate, and I don't know what to do. Edit. Okay, I think I should clarify some things. I'm not bashing Christianity. I'm simply telling you what has happened since my brother became Orthodox. I don't know if it's related or a coincidence, but it's not good either way. His views genuinely worry me. Story 5. My fiancé has changed his preferences to directly fit into a female co-workers of him. Am I paranoid? Please, if I'm being paranoid, be blunt about it. I do have a history of paranoia simply due to poop I've been through, and sometimes I can't tell if I'm acting out of line. I'm 30 been with Matt 29 for 6 years. This all started like 6 months ago. He gets a new job after being unemployed for a while due to mental health and starts working with a 23 named Chrissy. He talks about her just like he talks about all his other employees. No suspicious behavior in the beginning. But then, poop just changes quick. Like he is not a dog person at all and has expressed multiple times that he never wanted one, but all of a sudden, out of the blue, he needed a dog and was constantly looking up photos of dogs or watching TikToks of dogs, and lo and behold, we now have a dog. The connection there is that Chrissy brings her 3 dogs to work every day and only posts on social media about how much of a dog mom she is and how she can't trust anyone who doesn't like dogs or can't be with anyone who doesn't have dogs. Second thing, Matt doesn't drink often, and when he does, he is strictly a whiskey drinker. He hates anything pumpkin-flavored and hates beer. He all of a sudden started bringing home Pumpkinhead beer every single weekend. This was shortly following Chrissy posting on FBI about being upset because she ran out of Pumpkinhead and had to drink a different beer or whatever. I only know her posts because she added me on FBI some months back. He has started working late. His buddy George is always there, which I know for a fact, but so is Chrissy. He has also talked to his other buddy about Chrissy on more than one occasion in my presence. And it's all become rather infuriating on my end because I'm tired of constantly hearing her name, and I'm tired of constantly piecing poop together that directly connects his behavior to her way of living. So I questioned him about it. I asked why he was always talking about her, why he got a dog after meeting her and finding out she loves dogs to the highest degree, and why he all of a sudden started drinking her favorite beer and flavor, when he all of a sudden started drinking her favorite when he absolutely hated it up until a month ago. He says I'm making something out of nothing and that he has no attraction to Chrissy and I'm being paranoid, but hasn't elaborated further. My friends think I'm being ridiculous because he is allowed to have female friends, which isn't what I'm arguing. I'm arguing the fact that he has twisted his life to go with her preferences since meeting her, which seems more than your normal friendly behavior. Redditors' reactions. Redditor 1. You don't just go adopt a dog on a whim after proclaiming for years you don't like them. Redditor 2. It sounds like he's trying to get her attention. I mean, that's fairly obvious. Redditor 3. He's lost interest in you because you say all of a sudden and Chrissy says all of a sudden. But seriously, he's probably into her. As they say, imitation is a form of flattery. He might not be fully consciously aware of it, but his monkey brain definitely wants to bump uglies with her, even if his adult human brain hasn't quite caught up yet. Serious question. Is he a people pleaser in life in other ways? I find people pleasers are the ones who are also social chameleons. They alter things about themselves to best fit the mold for the people they most want approval from. If this is typical behavior from him, it might not be entirely sinister. It's not great, but it doesn't mean he's currently actively cheating on you. Redditor 4. Paranoia aside, I want to ask you how the relationship is aside from these actions of his. Does he make you happy? Does he respect you? I honestly find paranoia to be stronger when deep down we're unhappy or something is actually bothering you. So even if you don't have tangible proof that he's trying to impress this girl, I do think it speaks volumes if you find his sudden changes to be more bothersome than anything. Perhaps a sudden show of effort coming as a result of this girl, and not because of you. Makes me wonder how hard he tries to be actively involved in your interests or show effort towards your happiness. Best of luck, Op, but don't be afraid to end things if he's just not cutting it for you anymore. Redditor follow-up. This is a great way to put it. I have felt hurt because my previous partners would put so much time and energy into other women other than me. It really wasn't even about the other women. It was the fact that I personally felt unappreciated and uncared for. Honestly, if I felt like I was appreciated, I wouldn't have cared much in retrospect. At the end of the day, even if you're being paranoid, you deserve to have your needs met. If he is licking in X and you've communicated your needs and he simply isn't helping you get those needs met, maybe it's time to find someone else.